Well, hey guys, welcome to sunny Southern California. We are in the venerable v-strom 650 2019, and we got a topic today. We're going to discuss our motorcycles getting too high tech. And I think they are. But the history of technology on bikes has been quite a long journey. I think one of the first advancements that we got on bikes, not necessarily technology, but a lot of this stuff comes from racing or it comes from automobiles. Fuel injection was one of the first things. Then we've got ABS. The first ABS systems are pretty rudimentary. Now they're really good. And I think ABS is a fantastic thing to have on a motorcycle. I think it saves so many lives. But for specialized riding like off-road, motocross, or road racing and things like that, I think the manufacturers need to offer an alternative that's more keyed into those specific tasks. You know, let's get a turnkey race bike, and most of the motocross bikes are not for the road anyway, so they're not going to have those types of features. But ABS in general, fantastic thing. I'd like to say that just inverted forks was a big thing that came from racing. It has been introduced on a lot of bikes. And look at the car show here. Somebody likes the color red. I guess that's the red, the red car club. Well, you can join our club, but is your car red? But back to high-tech stuff, inverted forks is a big thing for me, especially coming from racing and seeing that on general bikes and things. And we don't have it on this one, unfortunately, but I've had it on a lot of my other bikes. And why am I talking about this? I just saw the video for the new 2021 BMW 1250 RT, which is one of their big, which is pretty much their big sport tourer bike. They do have the 1600, so they got the field of touring bikes pretty well covered. And I think the biggest thing that they needed to do that was being asked by a lot of people, why don't you have a TFT display on the RT yet? And that's primarily what they did. But of course, being German, they added a bunch of other electronics to it. And the Italians have done it the same thing with their sport touring bikes as well. And again, my opinion on this is the same as if, you know, you have specialized bikes and you have bikes made for riding on the street. It's okay for a manufacturer to put a lot of high-tech stuff on their big touring bikes. I think that's where they go. I think Honda kind of went a little bit overboard on the Africa Twin, but that's okay. As long as they make other street bikes that don't have a lot of tech on it. A lot of the even middleweight class bikes, a lot of the standard bikes don't have a lot of tech on it. They kind of have the minimum tech on it. I'm seeing a lot of bikes that have the 6-axis IMU. That's another huge thing that has happened lately to bikes, and having that added on more and more bikes. So it's up and down, back and forth, and then side to side, 6-axis. And the bike monitors what the bike is doing based on speed and what the lean angle is. So it's a very cool feature, and to have that upgraded with the ABS is nice. So is it expensive? Yeah. But it could be argued that that could be something that will become more standardized on street bikes as we go forward. But as I was saying, yeah, throw all the tech you want on the big sport tours and the big touring models, as long as you have other bikes in your lineup that don't have a lot of tech on them, so people can have a choice. It's kind of the bare minimum now. I mean, what are we talking about here as the bare minimum in tech and street bikes? ABS. That just goes without saying. 6-axis IMU, maybe. And cruise control. Now that's being that's being accepted more on street bikes. But you have to have the throttle by wire to get the cruise control. So maybe on some of the bigger bikes, yeah, that makes more sense. And as long as the manufacturers offer a range of bikes that have a range of selection of tech, then I think we're okay. Now, for the big sport tours, are they getting too complicated? I would have to lean toward, yes. I'm an old fart. I don't like all this technology. I think it's way too much. I don't mind reading a shop manual. I don't mind reading the manual so I can work and maintain my bike. But I don't want to read a computer manual, you know? And I think it's very important that if they do throw the tech on these bikes, that they do it in a way that allows you to have a choice. And what I mean by that, if you've ever used a computer application and you've gone to settings or you've gone to options and you click on settings, let's say, and you get a list of things that you can change and set and modify, right? And then sometimes on the bottom it will say advanced settings. And that's the kind of model that I'd like to see in the tech for motorcycles, is that if you're going to have a bike with a lot of tech on it, have an option to dig deeper if you want to. But if the average Joe or an old fart like me just wants to get on the bike and ride, I want to make a couple of selections in the menu and be on my way. I don't want to have to sit there and figure out if this is on or that's on or and all the other crap. And that's really important. Now, I haven't ridden a Ducati Multistrada with the Skyhook suspension and the way they've got that set up. But as I understand it, when you pick a riding mode, it affects the throttle response and the suspension. Everything that on the bike is all controlled once you pick one of those selections, sport, road, or whatever. A lot of other bikes have that separated out. So you have a riding mode that just affects your throttle response, but then you have another riding thing that you have to set for the suspension. But Ducati has kind of done it that way, where you can get on the bike, pick something, and everything else is set for you. You don't have to think about it. And then you can just go in, if you want to go in deeper, and I've seen the menus for it, you can go in deeper and adjust those settings as you want. But I think that's the model going forward. Settings, advanced settings. And if you don't have that, that's very confusing. And I don't think these things should be split up. If you're going to go to the level of technology that these bikes have become, you should be able to pick one riding mode and have that affect everything in the bike. ABS, wheelie control, your throttle response, the suspension, everything. You just pick that and everything is boom. Ooh, wow, look at all this. Very busy. Look at that Suzuki. Wow. That's what I want. I want the Suzuki, man. So yeah, I am kind of an old fart and I kind of shy away from all that electronic stuff because there is something about motorcycling. People understand the zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance and how you ride, how therapeutic it is for your mind, your mindfulness, whatever you want to say. And that goes out the window if you're trying to dig through a menu system and trying to just get on your bike and ride. So you want to allow people to have that experience without overburdening them with too much tech. And the other thing that these high-tech bikes do is all the connectivity with your phone and with an app. Ooh, that's a nice bike. A lot of vintage bikes out today. all the phone connectivity and your maps and you're wired, and you know, I think that's great if you have, you know, earphones and you want to listen to your music on your phone. That's great, and it's great that it has that connectivity. I get that, but I'm not one to listen to music when I'm riding. You know, I think that if I went cross country, I'd probably look into it, but they have to be careful. You know, suddenly are they a motorcycle company or a software company? And then the adaptive cruise control. I'm not a big fan of that. I think everybody's on these reviews, these initial reviews, are going, oh, it's really great and it works great, just because they're trying to kiss the ass of the manufacturer. But I mean, if I got adaptive cruise control on and somebody jets in front of me, I just don't feel that that applies that well to a two-wheel vehicle versus a four-wheel vehicle. Because in a four-wheel vehicle, if that gets or something happens, you're not going to fall over. But on a two-wheel vehicle, it's a whole different ballpark. It's a whole different game. So, sure, it's very nice and everything, but I do like cruise control. I am an old fart, and as an old fart, I officially love cruise control. But do I need it to be adaptive? No. And do I want to pay for it? No. But yeah, guys, that's my wrap-up about tech. Let's not go too techy. I don't want to have to go to an online course just to boot up my bike every time I want to go on a ride. And the Honda Goldwing, I got to throw that in there. I have to mention Goldwing is they have a lot of tech, and they're bringing that over from the car. And that's what BMW is for the RT, is they're bringing it over from the car, and that's good. And they say some of this stuff is optional, and you can add this and do this, and I don't know. It's all it makes things a little bit more confusing as far as buying, you know. Oh, I've got this option, but I don't have this option. It is a little bit daunting. That looks like... But anyway, guys, I've waxed on for a very long time about motorcycling and high-tech stuff. My v-strom 650 is very low-tech. It's all cabled up here. It's got the old-school traction control and the old-school ABS. So thanks guys for watching. I do have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it and like the video. And if you're an old fart like me, you can commiserate with me in the comments. If you're a young guy, you can tell me to go to hell. And uh-oh, there's another motorcycle gang. And a lot of, you know, I should have said this when I started the video, but this is a Sunday, guys. And I call this a lockdown crowd. So on weekends it's usually pretty crowded, but now with everybody locked up, and you know, they finally get a day to go out, it's like everybody gets in their cars and motorcycles and goes out. So it's very crowded. Very hard to do a video. But if I can find the bridge down here, is this it? I think this is it. Boom. But guys, thanks for watching it, and I will see you in the next one.